So, I'm happy that you are back. We have now a block that is called Communication and Education. The block is composed of 4 presentations, but one of them is composed of 3 smaller presentations. Hopefully we will have a time for your questions at the end of each presentation, so I would like to ask again those that will present and that will speak to keep their time and try to save some few minutes to allow a discussion or your questions from the audience. And now let me ask Ģirts Baranovskis from project LatViaNature to present this project. And Ģirts, you have 10 minutes as I see now.
Hello everyone. So yeah, I will start. I represent LatViaNature project, and we have 3 main teams. One is forests, one is grasslands, and also invasive species. But today I will talk more about landowner engagement. And so in general, in Latvia, 50% of forests and more than 70% of grasslands are owned by private landowners. And what does it mean? That means that private landowners have a crucial role in how we can reach biodiversity conservation results. And in Latvia, we have this traditional form of nature conservation, the regulatory approach. That means that protected area or some micro-reserve can be established on private land even without acceptance of landowner. And this historical experience with limited voluntary mechanisms has led to many conflicts. And what happens when there are such mechanisms only available is that there is big mistrust between landowners and institutions, and what happens is not that so many protected areas are established, it's just that institutions choose not to make any additional protected areas. That's consequences. Within our project, we started with landowner surveys to ask what landowners needs, grassland owners, forest owners, general public. And then we tried to add some practices of other countries, of voluntary mechanisms, some diverse other approaches. And together with our partners, with universities, with landowner consultants, considering survey results, we tried to establish 2 pilot programs, one for forest conservation and one for grassland conservation. And so the idea is that landowners voluntarily apply for those conservation programs. It's their decision. Shortly about the surveys. Landowners are a very diverse community. We cannot say that that's landowners' opinion. Landowners are so different. And what's good that we found out of our surveys that about 20–25% of our landowners are very positive towards nature conservation, but we do not have any mechanisms for them how they can voluntarily be involved in this process. And we try to incorporate this experience, their knowledge, their thoughts into our 2 pilot programs. And the first program is Living Forest. It's a program for forests outside protected areas. That means in general you have old forests with certain minimum, certain quality criteria for biodiversity conservation, and landowners choose not to maybe make clear cut there, but dedicate for nature conservation. They receive financial support and they receive also consultative support. And we have 3 programs. One is habitat conservation, where mainly non-intervention is applied. Then we have habitat creation, where landowners who have not those forests who meet all the criteria for EU protected habitat have consultation that how they can improve the quality. For example, they do some tree ringing, or increase. They have requirements to increase certain amount of deadwood. So there is that kind of program. And then we have a nature-friendly forestry, where we try to balance. You continue forestry, but in an extensive way, in low intensity, and take care of those forest structures needed. And another program is Blooming Meadows, which is also, we totally understand that 4 years program is not enough for nature conservation goal reaching, but it's more about testing the approach, because like surveys say, there are those landowners who like to join such programs. But when you put it in practice, we have to check whether we have such landowners. And we found out that, yeah, we have forest owners, grassland owners. Actually, for grasslands, there was 4 times more applications that we could accept for a pilot. And so for grassland program, we test this result-based approach that we link the payment level with the biodiversity level reached, and we focus on both on plant species composition and also for structural diversity. And actually I would say that it's kind of adaptive management, because every year results are fixed, and also our experts help them to improve their management plans following the previous year's data and try to do some additional activity or change the activity to improve the result. And yeah, so yeah, that's another program for grasslands. And then we have, in total, we have reached more than 1,000 hectares for both programs together, and also so 70 farmers for forests, and 70 agreements with 65 agreements with grassland owners across all the country, outside protected areas. And yeah, one important thing for learning is the fact that all landowners should, in agreement, we have these principles that landowner is involved in monitoring. So for forests, they go to the forest and check dead wood amount, large trees, and some other woodpecker trees. And the idea is that if you go and do monitoring in your land, you better understand why it's better, why it's becoming better, or what's missing. And for grasslands also, every participant take part in monitoring. They do this monitoring for structures, they do monitoring for species, and later these results are discussed with experts. Important part is seminars also, but also individual consultations, and also we have WhatsApp groups for those forest and grassland owners, and sometimes they just, oh, I found this beautiful flower, is it that one? And then expert says no or yes, or they exchange ideas about different equipment, how you can do, for example, grassland management better. So this WhatsApp group, especially for grassland owners, is very active. Then we use also this peer-to-peer learning. For example, we have 5 forest owners who invite other forest owners to their forests and to discuss nature-friendly forestry issues. It's not always perfect example how it should be, but it's a platform where to meet together and just discuss these issues on real examples, also admitting mistakes in previous management and so on. So landowners really enjoy to see that stories made by other landowners. Then we try to involve also those landowners sharing their knowledge within these programs, what's good, what's not so good maybe, and sharing their stories. And then we also try to, we develop some informative materials. This is, for example, small YouTube films from old polypore mushroom perspective about forest ecosystems. It's also available in English, you can later check it. And then we have also this mobile nature education class. Sometimes we cannot bring all people to educational centers. That's why we go to them, go to festivals, go to some schools. There are a lot of games, informative materials. It's totally self-sufficient with electricity from solar panels and so on. So we also try to reach more remote areas of Latvia. That's so far, that's it. I would be happy if you later come and ask more questions to me.
Thank you, and stay with us a bit more. If you have any questions, I think it was quite interesting presentation. So we have, one question is there and one is here. So let's start. All this easier. One is here, and then.
Thank you. Very nice presentation, easy to follow. About the blooming meadows, did you also develop or tested some kind of technical IT supports to like track or develop the result-based scheme in general?
We developed kind of application that helps also for landowners to submit their monitoring data in app. But actually, that's if I had to say some learnings that we didn't know that actually you need IT support for that, because for some phones it doesn't work and they call us, and I'm not IT expert or something, and it takes quite a lot of time to solve those issues. And actually, if we would do it again, I maybe in this project wouldn't put any activity about app things or something, or you need really definitely more support or financial and expert support for such things. Yeah, that's. But we use it, and some of our landowners submit such data, and also there is pictures of those flowers. They can easily to recognize in that app. They say just yes, no, yes, no, yes, no.
Second question.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation. And I want to ask how you motivate the landowners or foresters to take part of the monitoring. So I can imagine that it's maybe not allowed for landowners or private forestries. Is it just intrinsic, or was it with compensation?
In this case, so for forest owners, they have to identify just quite simple things: large trees, deadwood. They do not have to recognize species, but actually, for so far, we still have to make conclusions. But I don't feel very good. I don't see it as very good success. Quite many forest owners just write some numbers. It's my feeling. So I wouldn't say that this it helps definitely for some of our landowners, but not for all of them. Yeah, I actually, if I have to do it again, I wouldn't include obligatory monitoring of landowners in the design of the program. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Last question. Okay.
Just to make sure if I understood well, for the meadows and the contractors, in order to pay them, you do the mapping, the vegetation mapping, like every year, and in connection with this, you like set an amount of payment?
Yeah, so in general, each grassland plot can receive maximum 100 points, 50 points for structures, 50 points for species composition. And there is methodology how these points are awarded, and based on point level, you get certain amount of payment, and therefore you are motivated to adapt your management in order to get more points and get more payment.
And you have, like, before we heard that there's a lack of experts doing this mapping. Do you have enough of experts doing this?
We cooperate with University of Latvia also, but in general, we have only 70 farms, so it's done by actually two experts. Okay. It's not so enough. It's not so much.
Thank you very much.
And maybe before we will continue with our presentation, I would like to have a follow-up question, which is about result-oriented payments. Do you pioneer it in your country, or is it something that is also somehow in your common agriculture policy scheme, etc.? Are you the first one who is?
Yeah, we are just piloting. We would be very happy to include in next kind of CAP, but it's always political decision.
Yeah, I believe so. Thank you very much. And now we have three short presentations. Every of them will be about 10 minutes, and all are about one nature project. So I would like to ask now Veronika Havlíčková to present. Havlíčková, sorry. To present the first part, and it will be about learning from nature educational resources and tools.
Well, thank you. Again, my name is Veronika Havlíčková. I'm not at the list of the speakers, as I'm here as a deputy speaker instead of my colleague Alexandra, who lost her voice. So I'm sorry in advance that I'm not quite well prepared for this. I'm project coordinator of One Nature project, biggest partner, Nature Conservation Agency of the Czech Republic, whose one of activities was also educational activities aiming nature protection authorities. Well, we I hope there is, well, okay, there is no. We aimed to 4 topics, 4 modules, under which we implemented those activities. Training about Natura 2000 network, communication training, evaluation of ecosystem services, and management and monitoring of Natura 2000 sites. During implementation of the project, we organized 18 trainings. We created 2 methodologies. I will speak about that later. Created 9 information leaflets or brochures, and created a documentary film about ecosystem services. You will see a link afterwards. And also, we created a website as a mandatory activity of the project. As last activity, we created 10 learning courses. Well, fortunately, there is a bit mistake in this presentation, and this list of trainings is in Czech, so I will try to translate very quickly. Under Natura 2000 topic, there were trainings like Czech story of Natura 2000, Natura 2000 from theory to practice, practical aspects of Natura 2000 network assessment or assessment, how to use agricultural subsidies in care for Natura 2000 network, and special seminar dedicated to military training areas workers. Under the ecosystem services evaluation, there was some introduction to evaluation of ecosystem services, then evaluation of ecosystem services for employees of Ministry of the Environment of the Czech Republic, and Czech inspection of environment. And the last one was ecosystem services for nature conservation. Under the module of practical management, there was topics as tree as habitat for protected species, practical methods of elimination of invasive species, wooded species, coppicing management in terms of forest law. Then seminar of experimental management in forest management. We organized this twice. It was very, very successful. And under the communication and nature protection, there were experiences and good practices in communication with agriculture companies. Then experiences and good practices in communication of nature protection authorities, communication with in conflict communication of nature protection, and good practices from some particular protected landscape area. Well, then very shortly, I presented 18 trainings we organized with 600 participants from nature protection authorities such as Nature Conservation Agency, regional authorities, national parks, and other nature conservation organizations. As I mentioned, for example, that military training areas workers. This is example of one of the trainings or seminars we organized. This one was for methods of eliminating invasive woody plants. We tried to offer not only a theoretical part, but also as much as possible of practical trainings. And of course, from each of that seminars, we gathered feedbacks from the audience. I can skip this. My colleagues who will have presentation just after me will present this closer. Here there are links to the methodology I just skipped, One Nature website, and Values of Nature document that I mentioned. You can get to the link immediately. Well, one of the tools we let's say created and try to get to practice were learning courses, which are developed on educational platform our organization already used for some general education of our colleagues, for some basic courses. The platform is available for nature protection authorities. After you go through these courses, you get also certificates that you got it and understood it. Well, this is how the platform with learnings look like. Everything is according to that modules. Example of that certificate. Total number of users so far were 581. Number of certificates issued were, of course, higher. There is a list of e-learnings we created, but I can skip this. It's usually come from those topics of the seminars we organized. Thank you for your attention. Sorry for my nervousness, but I hope you got something from that.
Thank you, Veronika. Are there any questions? If not, let's continue. So we have a subsequent presentation and we go to the same topic as we heard about from Latvia. as an example, and this is about involvement of landowners and users in management of protected areas. And I would like to invite Martina Kobyláková.
Hello, I'm from the Nature Conservation Agency, like Veronika, Havlíčková. And I'm going to talk about involvement of landowners and land users in management of protected areas in our project One Nature, and how we improved it during our project. As we know, good communication with landowners and land users is essential for an effective management system in Natura 2000 sites. And we need cooperation with these stakeholders to make the nature conservation sustainable. Yeah. So, do I have to repeat? In the picture, we can see a small hill in České Středohoří, which is completely in private hands, and thanks to thriving cooperation with the owner, the locality has the best management possible. As the owner acquired a flock of sheep, and after clearing some bushes, he began grazing the steppe grasslands on this hill. And he does this work based on management agreements, and some works are done with financial contribution, and some even without getting any money for it. The Nature Conservation Agency has a few legislative tools for the collaborative management given by the Nature Conservation Law. This includes concluding public law agreements, which can be 1 year or multi-year. Then we can conclude also land-lease contracts of state land in our hands. But if landowner doesn't want to do the work needed, we can send him an official call. In this case, sometimes the owner accepts to sign the agreement and do the work, but when he doesn't want to, he can give his consent so that we can do it by another person. And if even this isn't good for him, he doesn't want to cooperate with us, we can also send him an official call. After this official call, we can do this management needed against his will, but it's the worst case, and we prefer not to do this against his will, because of course the relationship with the landowner is ruined, and most probably will raise adverse moods also against nature protection authorities in the whole area. So we prefer to let it be, to give it time, and we don't push. And sometimes landowner can change his mind after some time. Sometimes there are changes in land ownership, and the time heals the problem. In order to help our staff in communication with landowners and land users, we created methodological guidelines in cooperation with the Charles University. Charles University Environment Center, who did an analysis of groups of landowners and land users, of their needs and restrictions on their sites. You probably got these methodological guidelines at the reception, but they are also available to be downloaded by QR codes in the Czech language or English language. It's outside this room where you can find the QR codes. And the guidelines contain general principles in communication for building trust and long-term relationship with landowners and land users, best practices in communicating nature conservation measures in protected areas, and reviews of Czech legislation dealing with involving landowners in nature protection. There are also some stories from practice. And in the English version, you can find a map of large-scale protected areas in Czech Republic, and also a review of types of protected areas in Czech Republic. For our staff, we organize several communication trainings on various techniques such as non-violent communication, crisis communication, and convincing communication. Some of the trainings during COVID took place online, and they were as well successful as present ones. And an important part of the trainings from our experience were exercises such as playing roles and collective seeking for solutions of problematic situations. And the most valuable benefit was exchange of best practices between staff. In collaboration with our colleagues on regional branches, we choose habitats and species from the Habitat Directive and Bird Directive and created leaflets for a more effective communication with landowners and land users. These leaflets contain some basic information, some threats to the species or habitats, and possibilities to protect them and do some management measures, and also some tips for subsidies and where to get them. And we created about 25 leaflets, and one of them was created also in English, just to show our work. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Do you have some questions to this presentation? There is 1, 2, 3? No, just 1 and 2.
Thank you for the very interesting presentation. A small question really regarding the non-violent communication that you did. I suppose those was training the staff on how to come in contact with the landowners. Did you have any feedbacks from the staff when they went outside to discuss with the owners? Was those trainings actually helpful, or they encounter a totally different situation out there with the landowners?
Use this mic.
As there are many groups of landowners, everyone is different, and also our staff are many different people. So someone has good experience with this non-violent communication, and some not. So that's the reason why we chose the next one was crisis communication, and so that everyone can choose what is suitable for him most, and for communicating with the landowner and land user such as he knows him.
Thank you for the presentation. I have a question. Do your legal acts require, in protected areas, require active management from landowners? For example, it's quite easy to restrict something, prohibit something, but it's much harder to manage that landowners actively manage some I don't know, grasslands or fight with invasive species? Do you have such requirement from them in protected areas?
There are some management plans for the protected areas, but we can't require it in the legal acts. But we contact the landowners when we prepare the management plans. We consult it with the landowners, and then when we need the management to be done, we have to communicate. That's the reason why we communicate with them, because we need to ensure the management so that we want them to sign the public law agreement so that they do the work. And if they don't want, as I said, it's possible to send to them some official call and deal it by our legislative tools.
Thank you.
There is one more question, just there.
Since you have a lot of, I guess, surfaces that you work on, do you have any, I don't know, legal mechanisms or something like this implemented in case of where there are landowners, several landowners of one piece of land? For example, it's very common with us when, let's say, one is dead, one is in another part of the world, and do you have anything in place for solving this kind of challenges or issues?
I'm sorry, maybe we should discuss it later, because it would be a broader problem.
Okay,
so,
it's not that easy, I imagine.
Yeah, it's not that easy.
Thank you.
Clear.
Thank you.
Thank you very much once again. And you might notice that in the first and the third presentation there is a name of Alexandra Tamchinová as a presenter, but she lost her voice, although she's with us now. That's why I asked also Veronika for her first presentation, and I will ask now colleague of Alexandra, Ondřej Kubíček, to present the last one. And the topic is awareness raising and public outreach of Natura 2000 network and the WOODMEADOWLIFE project.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Thank you. Yes, I am here to present this presentation, which is called Awareness Raising and Public Outreach on the Natura 2000 networks and the WOODMEADOWLIFE project. As it was already mentioned, I was not the one who was meant to present this one, but let's try. I will be very fast, so we will save some time, hopefully. So first of all, we made over 100 outdoor notice boards and placed them to the management sites, which means here you can see those notice boards. There is mostly mentioned like what have been done there, why, which is the most important, and who has done it. We believe that if people have the information, they maybe understand and they are more respectful, and they are not surprised if they see, for example, a sheep in the middle of forest. Yeah, so I think that helped. Also, we have made 6 informational leaflets on the different project topics, mostly about ecosystem services, but also others. And we distributed them to different events, conferences, seminars, and also to some informational points, informational centers in the field. We have created 10 infotainment articles, which obviously is not like scientific articles impacted. It were published in some printed journals, and it's meant to be read by public and for them to understand the topics. Maybe the most important, or at least very successful, it was a documentary movie, The Values of the Nature, which maybe lot of you have already seen as we send it with the invitation. I hope you have seen it. It's very nice and I will recommend it. It's full of interesting information about the values of nature, ecosystem services, and also there is a lot of really cool shots from the drones. So it's really nice. So if you haven't seen it, I really recommend it. So it explains ecosystem services to the general public. It has already been broadcasted on Czech TV, like the main Czech TV, three times. And we also have it, of course, on our YouTube in Czech and also in English version. So again, watch it. Also, it has been played at the schools, and which is always nice to educate children. And it also received some award, like FAO award in 2023. Yes, and of course we are present online, which means we have a website, makes sense, and our social media. We started with Twitter or X, but then we moved to the Facebook because it's just more convenient and it works better for us. And also we have YouTube, as I've already said. So yeah, follow us. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Stay with us if there are some questions, and definitely follow them. Any questions? One.
Maybe Alex, stay here.
Thank you for the presentation and the insights. Just a small question, but probably a difficult one. Do you have any idea about impact? How many people did you reach? Is there a change in mindsets or something?
Yeah, how you measure the impact?
I will probably try to answer this question. Well, we can't really measure the impact. It's really like hard because even when you do some kind of questionnaires, people of course say, yes, I like nature, I protect nature, I do this for nature. But whether if they really act on that and if it was influenced by our promotional materials, we can't really say. All we can say is that we see numbers, we see how many people saw our documentary, how many leaflets we put somewhere, and if it's gone or if they're still are. So that's only like the measurable thing we really can count.
Thank you. And thank you for trying to answer. I hope that you heard everything. I heard it. So it's hard to measure it.
Of course, there are some numbers of views on the video. Again, there is over 1,000 views in English version, and I think 15,000 views in Czech. So yeah.
One more question.
Hi, thanks for your presentation. You mentioned you changed the social media channel you were using. Did you notice a change in the demographic, and what's the sort of demographic you're trying to reach, or everyone?
I think
maybe Alexandra will answer again.
Thank you.
So, well, if I can be really blunt, one of the reasons we changed from Twitter to Facebook was the acquiry of Twitter by Elon Musk, and the rules that were there now almost non-existent, and like many other organizations, they were withdrawing from Twitter, and also because Facebook here in the Czech Republic is like more popular for public than Twitter. And also it corresponded with the premiere of the documentary, and we wanted it to spread it more to the public, to the general public. It was like the whole reason we changed to Facebook.
Thank you. It's clear. And thank you one more for your presentation, which you've done together, finally. Now let's move from one nature project to two other examples. So we have two more presentations in this block about education and communication. And I would like to ask now Heidi Öövel from Estonia to present a presentation that will be about project WOODMEADOWLIFE. And the title is From Landowners to Conservation Partners, Lessons from this project.
I'm too short for that, but hello from my side, from Estonia, working with the WOODMEADOWLIFE project. So, and today a bit maybe different part of the project, as we mainly talk about the restoration, how to do it, what are the concerns. So today we are focusing more about the communication and how to involve the landowners. A bit about the project. So WOODMEADOWLIFE is a 5-year project started at the end of 2021. And actually we are applying for an extra year, as the restoration has been a bit a roller coaster because there have been changes with the restoration processes, and also the climate is a problem for us sometimes when it's too mild or when we can't make the restorations. The budget is about 6.6 million euros, and European is co-funding about 75% of the budget. We have 7 partners, universities, and some semi-natural communities, and also Estonian Fund for Nature is working with voluntary works in the project. A bit how it started, or why it started. So here is 2 maps of Estonian wooded meadows, or we would say at the first map, actually there are meadows with the trees, or with the sparsely wooded trees. And the second one is the situation today. So we would say at the high times of the wooded meadows were at the beginning of the 20th century, where we had about 1/5 or covered with the wooded meadows, about 850,000 hectares. And, but they changed after the Second World War, when Soviet time, and most of the wooded meadows were used as agricultural land, forested, or just abandoned. So the situation changed quite catastrophically, and today we are there where we have only about maybe 2,000 hectares of wooded meadows left. And with this project was the aim to find these overgrown wooded meadows and again make them alive and start them to manage them. Today we have about 1,600 hectares of wooded meadows now managed. So we would say that we are quite good stage if you think maybe widerly about the Fennoscandian biogeographical region. So where there are maybe in Finland or in Latvia, there are only a few hundred hectares. So we would say in Estonia side, we're in a good condition, but overall, there are lots more to go. The aim of the project is, I would say the main aim is to restore these wooded meadows, about 700 hectares total with Latvians, about 500 in Estonia, but also cooperate with the landowners, with the private landowners, as most of the wooded meadows are on the private lands, and make the impact assessment, make the survey about how the habitat quality has changed, the ecosystem system, and also arrange seminars, study tours, and we have made a survey about the heritage of the wooded meadows. So it's also quite big part of the project, as there are semi-natural habitats, so you have both the nature values and both the human impact in it. Before we go to talk with the landowners, we need to know, is there this value, is this the wooded meadow value there, or should you leave it as a forest, as they have been maybe unmanaged for 50 to 70 years? So our meadow and forest experts will make the kind of maps. This here is Karma project site, where you can see the blue, the red line is the sites that he felt that should left as a forest patches, so that we don't make the restoration overall. We don't see it, we don't want to see it as a chess board, so that you have like just 50% is covered just with trees. But sometimes there are some patches that there are more maybe forest values that need some maybe lichens or some deadwoods. We want to keep left as it is. The yellow line is the track, and you can see the blue stars are the ones where he noticed something, maybe the stone or the lichen or some certain spots that with the restoration process we already know that there are some certain values we need to put more effort when doing the restoration plans. Sometimes when the forest experts are going to the sites, we have both forest and meadow experts. We will get like two opinions for the site. Sometimes the forest experts and both meadow experts see that we should leave it as it is right now. We don't start with the restoration. We see that there are enough deadwood maybe, and which it's hard for the project as we need to work with these 500 hectares restorations. But still, we do understand that sometimes it's better to leave it as it is, and so it is. So it has left as a broadleaf forest or as a natural mixed forest. Sometimes the problems are white-tailed eagles, so that find that these are the best places to make their nests. So when we have got accept from the inventories that yes, this is a great site where to start with the restorations, we go talk with the landowners. In the project, we have more than 300 cadastral units. That means a lot of landowners to talk with. The first communication is done with the emails or sometimes phone calls, as we see that maybe only 10% of the landowners will reply for their letter. So sometimes they are afraid to just see that, oh, it's a strange something. They want to restrict something or just leave it as it is, don't read it. And then we take contact with the email or go on spot and talk with them. So to try to understand what are the concerns and talk what are the aims or why to do it, what are the conservation value. We have had also like big information days for some sites where we gather all the local landowners and talked about the reasons why we are doing it and what is the profit for them. Also, there are problems, as this project has 20 years agreements with landowners, so which is quite long, and landowners are, we would say they're mainly maybe about 60 years old or older, so they have their own concerns, so we totally understand them. Who would like to, it's like the future changes so fast, so you never know what's the next step, maybe next year. So we try to talk with them and make the agreements quite soft, that if they will come to the project, we as the one partner in the agreement try to find someone who will take this over if something changes or if they're not able to manage the sites afterwards. So we try to give as much support from our side that they will feel it, yeah, I'm not alone in it, and if there will come some problems, there is someone who will support me on that. And I think this is one big thing, that we say that we understand, there are concerns, we totally understand, it's really hard to see the future, but we are there to like share this burden. Sometimes the problem is that it has complex ownership structures. So it's only 1 hectare wooded meadow, but it might be 5 owners. So maybe 4 of them are agreed, and the one will be the ones who say, well, no, I don't think it's a good idea. So again, it's really sad, but we have to understand that it is as it is. There are afraid about the public procurement, as this is something really big, something really like you never know who will win the procurement, and sometimes landowners want to do it themselves with their own time. We totally understand that with the project, the problem is you have to do the restoration quite quickly. Historically, it has been in like step by step. So I feel it it might be a problem with life projects that you have this certain time and you have to really think that, oh, there's some certain hectares that we have to do it, but maybe in natural way it will be a bit different. So we try to convince them that it's possible to take part with the procurement themselves as well, and if they don't like the one who is winning, or if they're not agreeing that, or change their mind at the end at the procurement, they can take back their agreement, and we don't again start with restoration. And also, if for landowners, sometimes if there's something that state is doing, or some projects, or the EU in the game, so they're saying like, no, I don't want any business with bureaucracy. When we had the agreement with the landowner, we start with the restoration plans. And again, this is not only our vision, but it's also landowner's vision. So, because sometimes he has some certain stones or trees he wants to keep, or maybe he has some birches, side patches that he wants to keep. So here in the map, you can also see that the historical map of this one restoration site, which was unmanaged for about 60 years. And then how the landowner also saw that when the restoration process, what kind of patches he would like to leave. It will be like also, we don't make it like open all the other sites, but just the other sites are like more individual trees, and the patches will be inside these green areas. So it's really important that you will work with the landowner itself, that he doesn't feel like it's just our ideas, but he might have his own reason to leave something there. Also, one support, when we start with the restoration, how to support with the management part is that I already talked about, help to find the new manager if needed, and also give this preliminary support with all these management, taking to the management support scheme. We have quite good support scheme, I think, and we value the landowner's work on the sites with all these semi-natural habitats. We have support for small moving machinery for the landowners who are inside the project. So they can, it's really hard to start. Sometimes, as these sites have been unmanaged for many, many years, they don't have the machinery anymore. But you have to start somewhere, so we have this support for them. And also, we have the trainings for the landowners. So to get the first knowledge, how to do it, how to restore, how to manage afterwards. And here you can also see one machinery that was bought with this support. So about the trainings, we have already done about 4 of the 6 trainings we have planned, both for the restorers and for managers. It has the theoretical part, where we talk about the historical part, the values, why we do it, why we need the wooded meadows, and also the requirements for restoration and management. But it also involves practical parts. But as we see, the landowners are really interested to talk with other landowners or show their machineries and make the demo part, how everything works. So they are really positive to see how other landowners are working and what are the possibilities. As well, I think in most of LIFE projects, the public awareness has a big part in the project. We have made the information tables, have public events, had a conference, right now working with a video. We try to do it as a practical video to show the different parts of the restoration process. Made articles, publications in local journals, and also been in a local TV talking about the word in English, like the flower breads, I don't know if it's the right word, and as a campaign to people to notice the local meadow flowers and keep the tradition. And also have, as big part of the cultural heritage, we applied for the UNESCO heritage site. Right now we are in the middle of the application, and made the interpretational outdoor exhibition with the local students, and also working right now with the best restoration practices report. So thank you for my part. I invite you to look for our website, WOODMEADOWLIFE, and also join with the Estonian Wooded Meadows Facebook webpage. Thank you.
Thank you, Heidi, for a very interesting presentation. So I believe that there will be some questions to the concept of... Yeah, there are two. I will ask over there. There was the first question, and then you will continue. No, you are the second.
Thank you so much.
You will be there.
Just regarding the 20-year commitment from the landowners, this is also something we're struggling with. And I'm just wondering, did you get that? Did you give them that reassurance before you applied, or was it afterwards? And how did that negotiation come up with in your grant agreement stage?
Yes, we had about preliminary agreements with landowners for about 100 hectares. But actually, as the project changed, as the procurement system changed, we had to start again from the start through this project. So the 20 years are really long. I would say we have tried to done them half of them, let's make it for 10 years, and after 10 years we look it over. It's to cover the 20 years. But yes, we had preliminary for 100 hectares, and now starting with the next 400 hectares with these agreements. But it's hard part of the project, I would say. Yeah, it's totally easier to work projects in a state land than work with the private lands. But so it is. It's more effort on it.
Thank you. And Mr. Kufa?
So the project was situated in two countries, in Estonia and Latvia. And do I right understand that in Estonia it was on 500 hectares and in Latvia 700?
No, in Estonia 500, in Latvia 200, but in total 700 hectares.
Total is okay.
Yes.
Thank you for questions. There is one more.
Thank you. I would like to ask something about this 20 years of commitment. Do you have maybe some natural hazards in Estonia? What about if something happens, for example, in this area?
Yes, with this agreement, and if it happens something in Estonia, they are all in natural nature protective areas. They are inventoried as a 65-30 or Fennoscan and wooded meadow habitat. So there are already regulations what you can do or not do in the site. So it can change to some other habitat. So actually, what we say for the landowners as well, with this project, if you are not able if something happens and you're not able to continue with management. So as this is priority for the state as well, and through these support schemes, then we're not able to start managing ourselves from an environmental board side, but we try to support those managers around there, local managers maybe, so they can continue with this management afterwards. Maybe something happens with landowners or there are changes in ownership.
Thank you. Yeah. One more question, the last one.
Yeah, thank you. Could you say something more about the mechanism, the economical mechanism? I mean, for example, what the farmers use the hay for?
Most of the hay are going for, they sell it for, I don't know, I know they sell it for the other local farmers maybe, or they use it for their own livestock, this hay. Sometimes, in some cases, they are selling it to also Turkey, I suppose, to the camels or something. Or so it's in Estonia they have made hay export as well. So, so I understand the hay is really good for some certain animals that in somewhere warmer sites, warmer countries. But also they use it as a energy in local heat systems. So yeah, and this is what we are working with the project in this added value, to find added value for the hay and also for the wooded meadows, as this management scheme is a bit changed. We don't have those local small landowners or local small managers anymore. The complexes are getting like, for one manager is bigger, and so we try to find what are the other values that we can gain from the wooded meadows if the support scheme ends, in example. So if you don't have any European or state support anymore, so how to, like, what is the profit? So we are working with it as well, yeah.
Thank you, Heidi.
Thank you.
And thank you very much for a clear presentation. And now we have the last presentation from this block, and I would like to ask Katerina Koutsovoulou. Yeah? Sorry if I don't pronounce it well. And you will be talking about how to advance ecosystem services, public awareness and conservation objectives through a live IP for Natura project from Greece.
Yes, okay, thank you.
The floor is yours.
So, hi. The first part of the presentation is mostly linked to the previous blog about management, but the second part is mostly about public awareness. So the Life IP for Natura project is the first integrated project in Greece for the implementation of the prioritized action framework for the Natura 2000 sites. The project is coordinated by the Ministry of Environment and Energy, and we also have a broad set of beneficiaries, including universities, regional agencies, NGOs, and public authorities. The duration of the project is 11.5 years. We recently got a 3.5-year extension, so it will end in 2029. This was due to delays in conservation actions related to the implementation of management plans in Natura 2000 sites. And the total budget is 17 million and is co-financed by the European Commission, the Green Fund, and national contribution. And also we have secured an additional 1.5 million from the Green Fund in order to cover the expenses related to the extension period. There are a set of actions in the project. We have the development and implementation of action plans for species and habitats, the pilot implementation of management plans, mapping and assessment of ecosystem services, setting conservation objectives, actions relating to monitoring of funding, and also capacity building actions and awareness actions. So I will talk about 3 actions. The first one will be the setting of conservation objectives. This is an action that was not initially in our project, but due to an infringement procedure, we included it in the project. And then I will give you some information about the communication activities of the project and a tool designed to promote ecosystem services in Greece. So the first action is the establishment of conservation objectives. As you know, this is in Article 6 of the Habitat Directives for areas for special areas of conservation, but it also involves special protection areas for birds. It is important to define the site-level conservation objectives that are measurable and are quantitative, and they have also we have also to set if these objectives have to be maintained or improved, restored. In Greece, we have a national law for biodiversity, and in this law, We have to set conservation objectives also at national level, even if this is not in the directive. This was done for species and habitats of the Habitats Directive, but we only did it for species and habitats that we had available data, and that these data were of good, high quality. And of course, they covered the entire country, inside and outside the Natura 2000 sites. As you can see, we didn't have a lot of data for the entire country, so we set objectives for 25% of terrestrial habitats. The problem is, I think it was also mentioned in the first session, that we did not have a precise mapping of habitat types outside Natura 2000 sites. And also we set objectives for the 18% of the species, also for the same reason that we did not have enough data outside the Natura 2000 sites. We used a few set of parameters for this, mostly the surface area for habitats, but for the species we used the population size and the distribution mainly, but in some cases also we set objectives for the number of nests in the case of careta or for the habitat. The procedure for this, for setting the conservation objectives, involved many steps. So we had communication with the European Commission. We did a lot of capacity building workshops for the experts, attended some seminars organized by the European Commission. We had a review of the examples of setting conservation objectives from other countries. And also we had multiple experts, meetings with experts, and we also had a lot of feedback from the European Commission before finalizing the objectives. At the end, we could set the objectives for 2065 Natura 2000 sites, which cover about 60% of the Natura 2000 sites in Greece. We selected parameters and units for every group of species. Then the conservation objectives were completed by experts. We had the revisions and the final deliverables. They ended up by the legal adoption of the conservation objectives for both the species and habitats of the Habitats Directives and from the bird directives. Still, we have a lot of gaps for species or for some parameters of the species that are important to set. We had a new monitoring project that was linked to this, to the Article 17 monitoring scheme now. So the conservation objectives were updated, and hopefully soon we will have the new legal adoption of the updated conservation objectives that will be more complete than the previous ones. Here, just to give you an idea, you can see the for one group of species, for plants, we have, for example, for plants, 9 parameters, the units that the experts could use depending on the species biology. Then all these would be linked to a value, a numerical value, and then they would set a target, whether this value would have to be maintained or whether it would be restored. Now passing to action regarding the communication dissemination. This was coordinated by WWF Greece. So the actions, we had some public opinion surveys. We had one at the beginning of the project. We also had one at the middle of the project that showed that there is a positive, we have increased there is an increased information from people about protected areas and their value, and we will have a final public opinion survey at the end of the project. So the communication strategy has annual communication plans. The aim is to increase visibility of the network in the general public. There is, in our case, an emphasis in social media and outreach from the internet, and we also have a production of new material that is videos, leaflets for the public. Some results. We have 17,000 followers. The annual reach exceeds 19,000 people. One of the flagship actions of our project is the Click at Nature photographic contest. This has attracted more than 3,500 people, and we have gathered more than 16,000 photographs. We also have 3D online rooms with photographs that were awarded. This was really important also in the period of COVID, that we could not do a lot of dissemination activities. We also gathered a large number of photographs that are really of high quality, and we use them in all our dissemination activities. Also, we had a photo exhibition. We have photo exhibitions. This is mostly to bring biodiversity in the urban environment, since a large percentage of Greek citizens live in cities. Here you can see some posts from our social media that we believe have achieved a lot in reaching biodiversity to people. Finally, I will give you some information about a digital tool that we have developed. It's called Public Participation Geographic Information System. Its main goal is for ecosystem system services visualization and monitoring. This was developed by the Aristotle University of Thessaloniki, but now it has passed to our national agency for the protection of Natura 2000 sites. This system was developed mainly for the public, so that they could be aware also of the ecosystems and the services they could provide, that the Natura 2000 sites could provide to them, but also to contribute to the concept of ecosystem services in governance and policy, and mainly land use decisions. So this system presents at a national scale the ecosystem services. You see some examples in the presentation that the Greek ecosystems offer. The scope is to provide an interactive spatial data infrastructure at national scale for the users to be able to query the databases and get answers immediately, to locate points of interest and download relevant information. And also this was really important in order to incorporate the results of a preparatory action that we had in our project that was about the mapping of ecosystem services in Greece. And then the goal was also to develop tools for uploading participatory data. The development of the system was based on a multi-step and multi-technology development scheme, which was mostly dedicated to meet the needs of the system's user. The users can see the maps and see different combinations of ecosystem services presented, or they can see story maps of the national parks of Greece. So this is divided in two tools. There is the mobile app, which I will show you an example later, and there is the web app where someone can see it in his computer. The mobile app has a central menu, and someone can report the ecosystem pressures. These are what someone sees in his mobile phone. For example, he can choose in a place that the pressure is agriculture, and then he can select, for example, burning for agriculture, set his location at the exact point that he has seen that, and then report the impact on maintenance ecosystems and on provisioning ecosystem services, on cultural. He has these selections. He can also evaluate the ecosystem services in a place that he visits. Here, there is an example that he chooses to evaluate provisioning ecosystems. Also, he has to locate his place, and then he can upload photographs, videos, or whatever he thinks it's important, and rate the ecosystem services related to this type in his phone. He adds details, personal details, and then he has completed his evaluation. So this system now is operated by the National Agency for Protected Areas, and there are huge banners in its information center of this agency. We have more than 20 management bodies in Greece, and these are used by the visitors while they visit the protected areas in Greece. So, thank you.
Thank you, Katerina. And we have a first question from Jan Froos. Yeah, you should, because we have interpreters here.
So, thank you, very nice presentation. I was really curious about this ecosystem services part, and correct me if I'm wrong, but what I get impression for your presentation was basically that you have like two completely different way of thinking, you know. On the one hand side, there is a thinking about species in terms of Natura area and the protection. And, you know, this was also visible on this click for nature. There was no species, there was waterfall, you know, there was picture depicting, you know, processes, water cycle, wetland, you know. And this is something what actually people more perceive. Did you somehow consider combining these two views? So did you somehow consider natural processes in planning for Natura 2000?
So for the contest, the pictures, yes, the pictures that you saw were just a small subset, but there are a lot of species in the.
The question is if you consider processes in your Natura 2000 planning.
If you consider, sorry, I didn't.
Processes.
Processes. So the initial thought was to incorporate the ecosystem services assessment in our management plans. But since these two could not coincide because the management plans were drafted before our mapping of ecosystem types and services, what we have predicted is that when the management plans of the Natura 2000 sites are updated, they have to incorporate the mapping of ecosystem services. One of the major challenges with people is that if we talk to them about species, sometimes it is more difficult for them to understand their value, the value of protected areas in general, because in Greece, the Natura 2000 sites, in the terrestrial part, is more than 27% of the country. So it was important to have this aspect also for the communication campaign.
Thank you for answer. Is there any other question? Yeah, there is one question.
I would like to ask, what's the volume of data that you receive via app, mobile app and web app, and how you filter them? Because I can imagine that there are some inputs that are, not so valuable. So how you filter the valuable ones from the, incoherent ones, for example?
Okay, so it's something that it does not run for a long time now. We have a long time ahead of us for this, but it's something that I think it's less than a year that we have put the banners in the information centers. So the volume is not high. I don't have a number to give to you, but it's not high. But then the data are still managed by the two universities that were responsible for this. The one that is responsible for the development of the data, and the University of Patras that is responsible for the mapping of ecosystem services. So they gather the data, they filter based on the photos and and everything, and then they update the data that we have. If it was a lot, I think that it would not be manageable. So I think it's important to have this, but it's also important that if someone is in the field, they also see the ecosystem service of the area that he's in. So it's also informative for them.
Thank you. And there is one more question, the last one before the lunch break.
Thank you for the presentation. The conservation objectives. You said that they are somehow part of your legal system. Was that, or they are legally binding, right? Mm-hmm. Was that always the case in Greece, or did you have to, adapt in relation to what the European Commission asks you to do? And what is their status? How you work with them, and what's the purpose and around that?
So it's, I think it's a commitment for all member states from the directive, but how its member states sets the conservation objectives, that's what I think is different between member states. In our case, with our law of biodiversity, which was, I think, in 2013, they have to be through ministerial decisions. So they are also legal binding. They are used in environmental assessments, and also they are used in planning conservation actions in the sites. I think that's the two issues. There was a lot of pressure also from the European Commission, because there were a lot of projects being planned and investments, and our country could not continue with these projects if we hadn't set the conservation objectives. So that was also a procedure that was made things more quick for Greece in setting these objectives.
Thank you. Thank you, Katerina, for your presentation and also for answering the questions.